Let's go back to December 26, 2004. For millions of people across the Indian Ocean, it was a day that started like any other, but would end in an almost unimaginable tragedy. It's a story about a disaster that was seen coming, but a warning that was never heard. So it all starts at 7:58 a.m. local time, a massive 9.1 magnitude earthquake, one of the strongest ever recorded, rips through the seafloor off the coast of Indonesia. A truly catastrophic amount of water gets displaced. Now get this, within minutes, scientists thousands of miles away in Hawaii at the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, they detect it. They know a tsunami is on its way. But for almost 2 hours, that critical warning travels in silence, while the waves themselves are just racing across the ocean, heading straight for completely unsuspecting shores. And this is the result. 227,898 people. That's the estimated number of lives that were lost across 14 different countries. Entire communities were just wiped off the map. It's a staggering human cost for a disaster that, from a scientific standpoint, was not a surprise at all. And that, right there, is the most haunting part of this entire story. The warning existed. The science was there. So why did it fail so completely? What went so catastrophically wrong in that gap between the moment of detection and the moment of impact? Well, the answer really lies in a catastrophic disconnect. The knowledge that a tsunami was coming was crystal clear to a handful of people thousands of miles away. But that knowledge was completely trapped, It was unable to bridge the gap to the very people who needed it to survive. You see, the failure wasn't just one single mistake. It was this whole cascade of broken links in a chain. Scientists in Hawaii knew what was happening, but there was no unified warning system for the Indian Ocean to even receive their alert. There was no established network to get a message from a lab in the Pacific to, say, the beaches of Thailand or Sri Lanka. And what's even worse, some local tide gauges actually did detect the strange waves, but that data was just trapped inside the machines, with no one watching and no system to automatically sound an alarm. The information was everywhere, and yet somehow, it was nowhere at all. It all really comes down to this one simple, devastating truth. Having the answer means nothing if no one can find it when they need it. The information was there, but without a bridge to the people who needed it, it was just tragically useless. This fatal space, this complete disconnect between knowing something and being able to actually get to that knowledge, well, it has a name. It's called the visibility gap. So here's the crucial idea. A visibility gap is what happens when really important information gets stuck. It exists, for sure, but it's not in the right format or it's not in the right place for the people or the systems who desperately need to find it. For those local communities in 2004, the warning might as well have been on another planet. Now, this concept of a visibility gap didn't just disappear after 2004. In fact, in our modern world, we're creating new kinds of these gaps every single day. The very same principle now decides how visible your business, your expertise, and your brand are to the most powerful information-seeking systems on Earth, AI. The parallel is, well, it's chillingly direct. Back in 2004, critical data was trapped inside local tide gauges. Today, your most valuable expertise is probably trapped in a PDF download that AI just struggles to understand. The tsunami warning was isolated in a lab in Hawaii. Your unique business frameworks might only exist in some internal documents. And just like there was no system to get the warning to the beaches, your brand might have absolutely no presence on the very platforms where AI is actively searching for answers. And here's what's at stake today. It's really this simple. AI systems can only talk about what they can find. If your expertise is invisible to their search patterns, then to the AI and to the millions of people who rely on it, you might as well not even exist. So how do these modern visibility gaps even happen? Well, they tend to operate through 4 main disconnection mechanisms. Each one of them creates a kind of barrier between your knowledge and the AI that's trying to find it. Okay, let's break this down. First, you've got format isolation. That's when you pour all your best stuff into a beautiful PDF case study, but to an AI, that's like a locked box. Second is platform absence. All your genius lives on your website, but AI is also scouring places like YouTube and LinkedIn for experts, and you're just not there. Third, there's structural invisibility. Your site might look fantastic to a person, but without machine-readable code, an AI just sees it as a pretty picture, not verifiable data. And finally, you have search path misalignment. This is when you write all these insightful blog posts, but you haven't structured that knowledge into a simple FAQ format, which is exactly how AI loves to find and serve up direct answers. Okay, so
We've identified the problem, right? These dangerous visibility gaps. The good news is they can be fixed. There is a clear blueprint for closing them, and it's called the elimination system.
It's a really logical four-step process. First, you have to map your current footprint. You need to know where your expertise actually lives online right now. Second, you identify the missing channels. Where is AI looking that you aren't present? Third, you don't just create random content. You deploy strategic content that's designed specifically to fill those gaps. And finally, you verify AI accessibility. You actively check to make sure your information can actually be found and understood by these systems. And look, you can start making a difference right away. These are not massive, year-long projects. They're tangible, strategic actions. Start by making a simple inventory of all your content. Figure out the top 3 platforms where you're a complete ghost. Then, just take one high-value asset like that PDF white paper and liberate it. Turn it into a web article or a video. Build that FAQ page AI is desperately looking for. And, most importantly, test it. Every single month, go ask an AI a question that you should be the answer to and see if it can find you.
So let's bring this all together. The really crucial takeaway here is this mental shift from just having information to making sure people can access it. The 2004 tsunami taught us a brutal, unforgettable lesson. Detection without distribution equals a catastrophic failure. For your business today, in the age of AI, the lesson is just as stark. Expertise without visibility equals invisibility. So we'll end with a simple, but I think pretty profound, question. You've done the incredibly hard work. You've built your expertise. The answer exists. But the real question is, in this new world, can AI find it?